everybody, it's Sharon here. Welcome back to my channel for those who are returning, and welcome to any new subscribers that may be visiting for the first time. So as you can see, I have a little bit of a mess on my desk, and it all started because I went to start videoing today and I wanted to work on the piece that we adhered so this book page, it's actually a glue book page. We used one of our baby wipes that we had left from our paper staining recently, and I actually separated the napkin in half. I have some here. So this is what I have left. So I tore it into 2 layers basically. So you can see where we've taken the strip. And that was done in a previous video. Before I continued crafting, I glued that on with my Mod Podge and set that aside to dry. I haven't actually played with baby wipes before in this way, so it was a complete experiment for me, and I will say I wasn't necessarily expecting it to come out so transparent. So that was a fun surprise. If I'd have known that, I possibly would have chosen to use a book page that wasn't necessarily from a Reader's Digest. So my glue book pages are from Reader's Digests. I would have probably steered more towards perhaps a children's book or a dictionary page or something like that. Music paper. So I really love the way it came out, but I do want to cover up the text. So that got me playing with ideas, and you can see the result here. I want to talk to you more about that. While I'm doing that, I want to find my scissors, which I buried. And I just want to cut away the excess baby wipe. I really wasn't sure how I wanted to move forward, because I had kind of planned on leaving some of the text visible because I wasn't expecting it to be as noticeable as it is. So I kind of started playing with ideas, intending to turn the camera on, and you know, sometimes when things just don't fall into place the way you want them to or hope they will. So I ended up ducking over all parts of my craft room to get different resources to try. I really love what I've ended up coming up with, and then I was kind of sorry that I didn't have the camera turned on. But I wanted to talk to you about one of the things that I have there, and that is the yellow. It's actually a paper ribbon. So I'll trim that off now. I'm going to keep those little scraps to the side. They have a really fun texture about them with that Mod Podge. This ribbon here, it's actually been torn from this piece. So this is the opposite side. And I have here in this tub, see if I can bring it into camera. So I'll just stand up. I have here this tub of, they're all paper ribbons. Now, they're very old. Some of them are falling apart. I did actually pick up a brighter colour to start with, which you can see. Oh, I didn't change the focus of that. Bring that across. Okay, so this is a box or a container of paper ribbon. As you can see, it's all different coloured paper ribbons, different thicknesses. I purchased this in a bulk lot. It came with a bulk lot, was a big bag of lace. So when I purchased it, I really didn't know if I would use it or how I would use it. It does say on some of the reels that it's water repellent, so I kind of figured that perhaps staining it isn't necessarily an option, as I would with a tea stain or something like that, but I haven't tried yet. Sorry about that. But I haven't tried that yet, so I will give that a go and just see if it will dye. I'm just moving it out of the way, sorry. I wanted to keep that there to show you, because since I put it in the container, I haven't had a chance to share that resource with you. So when I was deciding what to do with this particular, it's going to be a belly band, I've decided. with this particular belly band, I decided to play with some of that ribbon. Now this is the first one I pulled out. It's very bright, and I tore it and was happy to see that it did tear because I wasn't sure it would. And I tried just hitting it with some vintage photo with both my distress tool and also this makeup brush that I have. And I didn't mind the way it took the ink, but it was still a lot brighter than I wanted for this particular piece of work. So I wanted to share that with you. So they are the difference. I'll move this out of the way now. I've got bits everywhere because I was experimenting with things. So they're the same ribbon, but that's how it's toned down with the addition of the vintage photo. So I do really like that. It just wasn't the right tone for the piece I was working with. So I do know now that it will take the ink, which is really fun. So I've decided I really like this piece, and I won't have the whole thing on there. I need to cut it to size, but I want to ink around this first. I really love the way this feels, actually. It's got a really, almost like a vinyl or leatherette type feel about it. That's really, really pretty with the vintage photo around it. I love that. Okay, so I do have my direction as to where I want to go with this tag. This is a piece of scrap paper left over from a Junk with Steph kit, and I really loved that on there, and I want the numbers fairly close. I'll only get to see one lot of numbers, so I want them fairly close to the edge. So I'm going to tear this. And I'm not sure which kit this is. I'm using several as part of my design team project. I've been working on a mass making ephemera project for some time now, and I'm really loving the results. So I do have flip throughs of Steph's kits so that you can go back to those videos and watch the flip throughs. That way you can match a piece of paper that you've seen if you're really interested, or pop over to her Etsy shop and check out what she has to offer. Her kits are beautiful, and I'm sure you'll find something that you absolutely love. They're so fun and so inspiring to play with. Okay, I just want to remove that little piece. Okay, so I'm going to ink this up. Once I got it to the stage I had it before I turned the camera on, I was so excited. I've been so excited to come in here and do this video so I could share it with you all. I'm really enjoying seeing my gel prints come together with Steph's kits. I feel like they're a marriage made in heaven, dare I say it. They're making me so happy to see how they're working together. And there's something really inspiring about that. I forgot my glue. It's so thick. I've been trying to source some acetone to thin it down, but then I saw somewhere that using acetone in glue, if you're putting it, I don't know if it was on fabric or on book pages, wasn't a good idea. So I've steered away from that idea, and I've decided to persevere with it as much as I can. I could potentially use my glue stick on this, but because the book page has the napkin or the baby wipe with the Mod Podge, I decided that the fabric glue might be a better choice. As I've said, I haven't played with the baby wipes before, so I'm not 100% sure how it would work with the glue stick, but this just seemed like the right choice at the time. Really love the look that it's given over that book page, and it's almost like there's a texture to it, which I really, really love. And yet there's not really a texture. Like, it does have a different feel, but visually it's like a visual texture that I'm seeing. Okay, so that's down. And then I do want to, oh, so I can, no, I don't want to put that down. Okay, what do I want to do? I need to cut this to size. Now one end is longer, it's, sorry, wider than the other. So I'm using the thinner end and cutting that piece off. And I did accidentally snip into that book page. So again, I'm just going to ink. I need to put my glue pin in. I'm going to lay that down. It's been really fun to play with these gel prints, and I really didn't think I'd like the white space on the gel prints, which was why I decided to tea stain some of them. If you've watched the videos where I made them and then the flip through where I shared them once they were finished, you'll know that I did try tea staining some of them, and I'm not as fussed on the tea stain as I thought I would be. Okay. Loving that. This is just a little bit of lace. Now I need to decide what I'm doing with this. So I'm thinking about stitching part of it, which is why I don't necessarily want to lock it in just yet. So that will go there. Just trying to get a gauge of how I want it to sit on here. Thinking about there, but maybe down a fraction. My white fabric is a little bit longer than my belly band, and I did that on purpose because I want to fray the ends a little bit, the top and the bottom edges. Okay, so I'm locking it in about there. So I'm gluing it down to hold it in place. One stray that's starting to pull, so I'm taking that out. And you can see the bottom is being held together with a little bit that hasn't been pulled out, a little bit of cross fibre, but I will be cutting it sort of around here, I'm thinking. So okay, so I need my needle and thread, Okay, I'm back again. Sorry about that. I realised while I was getting my needle that I hadn't refocused my camera, and I don't know if I can rescue that part of the video. So I'll just let you know I've inked around my bookmark I've inked around my belly band after I cut off the excess baby wipe, and I've attached this piece of Junk with Steph paper using my fabric glue, and I've also inked around my gel print, and I've attached this piece of paper ribbon just using some fabric glue down this part here. And then I got my needle and thread, which is what I was doing when I realized that I hadn't, oops, this is just a sewing cotton on here, it's not an embroidery thread. When I realized that I hadn't focused the camera properly, so I looked at my screen while it was videoing and it was all blown out. So I'm not really thinking I can save that, which is very disappointing. So I'm just stitching this now. These fibers are going to fray easily. Whoops, I was like, what have I done there? But I've grabbed the and this is why I don't sew. Oh my goodness, if it's going to be done funny, I'm going to do it. Funny as in the most awkward possible way. Okay, let me try and get this situated here. Now, I'm not really sure how I want to do this. Only a small part down the edge will actually be showing. But I thought it might be a fun little feature. If in fact I can make the stitches straight, which I'm not sure I have, but anyway. I have shared before, I'm embracing the imperfections this year. It's funny actually, because since I've been doing that, the imperfections, the, you know, the smaller stitches and the larger stitches, or perhaps something's not quite attached straight or what have you, they're actually the little things, the little details that I look for in a piece that I really love. And I say that when I'm looking at other people's work. In actual fact, the more imperfections, the more it makes my eye dance around, the more I fall in love with a piece. So it's been a really interesting process to look at my own work with that perspective instead of expecting it to be consistently perfect. You know, if you're stitching in a straight line, you kind of expect it to be straight, don't you? So there's that slight disappointment when it's not as straight as you intended. And yet I'm very quickly learning that that's not what it's about for me. Not anymore, anyway. It used to be. I used to be so focused on trying to perfect something. Oops. So I'm not sure. I think I'll just do the one row down here. As I said, there's not a whole lot of this that will be showing out from under that white piece of fabric because it will be layered on top. So you can see that was a really big stitch compared to my others. I'm okay with that. Now I'm telling myself a story. So my story is that they're getting bigger as they get to the bottom, which makes it okay, I guess, because, you know, it's like the trunk of a tree. It's bigger at the bottom. So for me, that adds the look of stability. And I'm not saying that it needs justifying. That's just where my mind went. All the storytelling. All the crazy stitching. Oh, that's my problem. I've got a thread there from my green fabric, my paint dyed fabric that I absolutely love to bits. Cannot wait to make some more. I love it so much I've always almost been scared to use it. Okay, so now I've done that, I kind of want to couch this a little bit, but I want to do it in large sections. So I'm going to do a big stitch across the top. And then from there I just need to taper these in. So I'm thinking roughly thirds maybe. Might be a little bit more than that. Might be more like fifths. It's not an exact science. I'm just sort of spacing them apart. I'm hoping enough that you can see that there's separate fibres there. I have no idea how straight my line will be. I'm just wondering about lining it up on the tag so that it's actually showing. But if it's not quite straight, I will scooch across my white piece of fabric. I'm going to do a double one at the bottom. And I'm going to tie that off underneath. Which didn't quite tie the way I hoped, but it seems secure, so we'll go with that. And I need to work out how long I want to cut it. I'm going to give it a fair bit, I think. So about there. I am throwing that bit out. And I'm going to lock that in. Now I am, because that knot was a little bit funny, I'm going to pop a little bit of extra glue on there just to hopefully secure the knot. Okay, I've got a blockage. So I'm just adding fabric glue. I'm going to check the camera. I just had a really horrible feeling that I wasn't videoing. I am. So that's good. Okay, I need 2 hands. This is really thick. Okay, you just don't want to play the game, do you? I'm considering whether I want to just part with this part of the glue and start again, but I don't like wasting, so you'll have to forgive me while I persevere with it. But for the sake of videoing, I might get my other one for the next part. Okay. So I'll use it out of the store-bought bottle for a little bit and see if that plays the game better while I'm videoing. I just need to remove the glue goober off the top, sorry. If it's not one thing, it's another. Now I need to remove this piece of paper. This is what I use to Mod Podge my baby wipe on. Oh, that's turned out quite well. Yay! Okay. So I'm going to add some fabric glue and lock that in. That makes me happy because I was really worried doing it that I would misplace that little piece of ribbon, paper ribbon. I'm hoping to come up with some other fun ways of using it in my crafting. As I said, it was a resource that I wasn't anticipating on having. But as you see, I have a really big supply now, so I would like to find some fun ways of incorporating it. I love the texture that it's given to this piece. Okay, so adding glue onto my gel print. So this piece of paper is actually matte photo paper, and it was an edge off a piece of fussy cutting. So when you have a page of fussy cutting, I tend to cut the edges off the matte photo paper before I start fussy cutting my pieces, especially when it's a wide piece like that, because I felt like it was big enough to be able to use for something else. And I just recently used my Gelli plate to print on them, and I absolutely love the way that they've turned out. I'm having so much fun using them. This is only the second video where I've been using the prints, and I really love them. You know, when you do something in your crafting or your artwork and it becomes obsessive, you don't want to stop that part of the process because it's so satisfying. That's me using my gel prints in my crafting. You'll probably see quite a bit more of them moving forward because I'm just finding it really satisfying using them. Okay, I've got glue strings. Oh my gosh, I love it. And I'm just going to use my bone folder and burnish that down. My bottle is leaking, so I just need to take care of that. Okay, now the other thing I had was a ruffle. I think I've set it in here. I did consider popping that on there just as an extra layer. I like it, I really like it, but I don't feel like it's adding enough. Like if I take it away, I still really love it. And if I add it, I really love it. So I cannot say that I love that way more than I love that. The dilemma. Do I want it there? No. Or do I want a little piece of lace maybe? I think I like that. I think I'll pop that up there. I just feel like that gives it a little bit of balance. I think the I really like the ruffle, but it was a little bit chunky for the rest of the tag, I feel. So okay, stringy bits. I'm not sure where my card is. Does anybody else do that? Do they pick up little pieces off their table from previous projects? That's sitting there from my last video. It's kind of embarrassing actually when I think about it. Okay. Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that. Now I haven't decided yet whether I want to stitch. I feel like it would take some stitching. I'm thinking about sewing around it, but I'm also considering sewing around my gel print as well. So I'll leave that and decide when I actually do the sewing, but I absolutely love that. So if I have a book page, that's how it will look on the book. And if I decide I could add a little bit of lace, if I wanted to elongate that, I can add the lace underneath, which would highlight the little fibers here as well. But it doesn't have to be a full page. That's so, so pretty. I love, 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 love. Okay, so what do I want to play with next? I'm setting that on my sewing machine. So I just have my music paper book here. I was watching Gail Augustinelli this morning which I'm sure is no surprise for those who've been watching my channel for a while. I love what Gail does. And she was making some pages to go inside her journals. And I really love, they're like a pocket page. Okay, I'm going to take two more. Now I need to, I'm hoping I remember how she did these. Okay. So I've got two pieces here. They were folded. I don't think I realised that they would be, maybe it was a double page spread that she was using. Like that. It must be. Actually, I'm thinking I'm going to try something. So this is a twist on what Gail was doing. It won't be the same. So unfortunately the back of the page is going to be upside down, which I didn't think about, which makes me wonder if I want to cut it in half, I'm thinking. And I'm just going to make sure that, oops, they're fairly even. But it helps when you level it that you keep it in place. I don't think they're too bad. I think I made it worse. Okay. Sometimes you walk away and you go, I should have just left it. I should have just left it alone. It was fine. Okay. So I want to turn it up so that they're both the same way around. I'm just checking the music. I like the music on that piece and on that one. Okay, so I'm going to ink these. So this is a page to go in a journal, as was Gail's. And when Gail makes hers, I don't obviously remember exactly how she made them. I thought she had a page that she folded in half, but I guess it's similar, but it's not necessarily the same. And then she sews at the top and the bottom, which I plan on doing. I'm leaving that funny little edge because I like that detail. And usually when I've seen Gail make them, she adds a belly band across the whole thing. But I want to do something slightly different, I think. And And I was going to sew first, but I think I want to make the next part first. Okay, so it will go into a journal like that. I love that. Okay. And I'm thinking about doing a little strip just of collage paper and turning that into a tuck spot instead of doing the belly band, because it's not a terribly wide page, the one that I'm using. But perhaps if I do a collage strip, so I could even do it like a book page snippet roll. Actually, where are my book pages? Okay. I don't know if they'd be too thick. Oh guys, the struggle is real. I have got so many things on my desk. I'm wondering about this size instead. I feel like that's a better choice. It still gives enough room, I think, to tuck into the pocket. So do I have a couple more that size? I'm sure I do. There's one. Actually, that's enough for this particular session. I was thinking about doing it similar to a book page snippet roll and just having a continuous one, but for the purpose of this video, I think I'm just going to do the two. Okay, so you'll have to excuse me while I shuffle things around. Okay, so I have my little bags of scraps of the collage paper kits that I've been using for the Junk with Steph Major Design Team project. Actually, I'm not going to ink yet. I'm just going to collage these up, and I think I might make them a little bit raggedy. I don't know. I don't know how I'm feeling. I'm just going to go for it. And I think I will just pop them down and trim them after. So I'm not even going to tear the edges on these as I go. I'm just going to cut them with the scissors afterwards. So I'm kind of going to do a base layer. And then I may come in with some extra pieces on top after. I feel like it's been forever since I had a glue stick in my hand, which is kind of funny. I was just like, this feels good. Oh my gosh, I just remembered that belly band that we just made. Gosh, I love that. Oh, I put my paper towel in the bin. Okay. No rhyme or reason with this one. Pop it that way, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to give that whole thing a really good burnish. Oops. It's a little bit tacky, but so are my fingers. Okay, I'm just going to leave that to dry. And then I've got these scraps here that I've saved. Oh, that's pretty. And might pop a piece of that one. Okay, so burnishing that down as well. And putting those scraps back in the bag. I have this little bag with some smaller scraps. That's a really fun. Whoops. So I'm just going to trim these. Okay, I'm really sorry. I think I'm going to have to leave it there. I've just realised how long I've been videoing for. So I'm going to go and I'm going to finish this in part 2 of a video. And I look forward to joining you all in the next videos. So I hope you've enjoyed watching. I've really had lots of fun and I'm looking forward to continuing. I hope to see you all in the next video. Please everybody stay safe, stay inspired and happy crafting. I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.